Your next race will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, opened in 1909 to host a balloon race.
What makes the Indy 500 so special is really the entire month. The month of May is everything to IndyCar racing. You want to be the best. You want to be peaking with your team and as yourself as a driver at that time. Everything that you've worked for boils down to the Indianapolis 500. It is our largest race of the year. It's everything that we put our work into, and it's where we want to have the most success.
Oh, I forgot that I had reset my difficulty level to be much lower. This should actually make it a challenge. So we're basically doing half of an Indy 500. I'm looking at an estimated race time of maybe an hour and 10 minutes. Although the last several endurance races has been completely rubbish. So I think at the most I'm hoping for less than an hour and a quarter. Also looking to pit about every 17 laps. And I'm hoping each lap takes about 39 seconds. And I really, really wish that I could tune these cars. This is pretty much my first return to Forza since the last stream, because Destiny has Sparrow Racing League. And that's been fun. It's a totally different kind of racing. In the Spectrum, it is pure arcade. It's yes, Mog, multi-car drifting. It's these corners until the tires warm up are very, very tricky. But once the tires warm up, we will be going, well, not much slower than 300 kilometers an hour. But it's, I mean, this is it. This is driving around corners, only left, and this is lap 2 of 100, so, yeah, as I was getting back, Sparrow Racing League is fun. It's very arcadey. It feels fast, even though it really isn't. The highest speed you can do in Sparrow Racing League is less than half of what I'm doing now. Oh, dude. Well, so much for pitting every 17 laps. Because chances are I'm going to have to go in now. Oh yeah, what's, oh, yeah, rear left brakes, rear left spring. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Ugh. Well, oh, now I've destroyed the driveline and the transmission and the steering and oh god. Yes, this is absolutely horrible. If it wasn't the fact that this is lap 3, it might be a write-off. Also, if it wasn't for the fact that I've somehow not fallen to the back of the pack. Although I will be once pitting stops. Just post that and then come back. Yeah. Endurance racing is significantly different in terms of sort of thought processes than, you know, just standard racing game racing, which is 10 minutes and you're done. You know, I'm planning on doing this in about an hour. Although probably a bit longer if we keep having accidents. So racing to the front of the pack is not actually that important. Because all I have to do is wait. You know, so that was a pit at the end of 3, so the next pit will be at 20. So now my big challenge is I just have to catch up. But I've got 5 pits, and I've used 1, so I've got about 4 pits now to hopefully catch up to the competition. But yeah, I mean, endurance racing is different, and this is actually probably closer not so much to endurance racing, but to actual racing, where you don't have to get into first as quickly as possible. You don't have to have first as fast as possible and then keep it, because pitting is just going to change that. You know, I have to pit, so that's going to be, you know, I think my average pit times in my spreadsheet are about 39 seconds. And that's a full lap, as far as I'm concerned. So every time I pit, I'm not only going to lose position, but I'm going to be lapped. So my goal is not to do that. Oh, this is shaping up to be a class act. But the goal is to sort of get myself in a position that I can defend, and then I just keep doing that until the last pit. And then the last pit is where I stop defending and is where I start attacking. And hopefully, by the time I get to last pit, I don't really have to attack all that much. But if I have to pit every 3 laps, this is going to be bad. So I think I'm going to get out of the pit lane early. Which is probably a penalty somewhere. I guess the real problem is that all the prep work I do is not, you know, with other AIs on the field. It's all sort of just me hot lapping. Which means that, you know, I've got a good idea of what I can do. The question is, can I do it? And I have a bunch of AIs crowding the track. And then can I do that reliably for however much time is required? Oh, jeez. First place is 9 kilometers in front of me. That's 2.25 laps. So I've got to fight back 2.25 laps. Over the remaining 90. That may not be difficult, but that could be difficult. We're not sure yet. Back to Sparrow Racing League. I keep saying it's fun. It is fun. It's very arcadey. It's like going into the arcade, pumping your quarters into a San Francisco Rush game. The only difference between that and quarter munching arcade games is there is no sort of you have to keep doing well in order to just finish. You can always just finish. Oh, jeez, exactly how... Oh, wow! Yeah, I could use some time extensions. Maybe a couple of extra laps. This is annoying. I'm gonna have to stop talking in the corners. I'm also suspecting that I may run out of laps to, or pits counts on my spreadsheet. So now next projected pit is lap 27. Whether or not that'll happen, who knows? Because first place is now over 3 laps in front of me. Yeah, I'm just going to get out of the pit lane. It's, for a simple track, the corners, especially 2 and 4, tend to be really tricky. It's kind of surprising. And you forget that corners 2 and 4 are tricky. I mean, for a track that's basically a rectangle. But yeah, SRL, no time extensions. You know, some things can catch you up. You can DNF, but that's usually because either you've somehow been dropped into a race that's populated by people way better than you, or you have phenomenally bad luck, or you're a wall grinder. But it's very much the short race, 3-lap mentality where you've gotta have to get in first and be first for the vast majority of the race. And the gate system does a real good job of sort of rubber banding, but it does a good job of making it not that important to be in first the whole time. And I think that's actually really good design for it, especially over something so short and something that's that competitive. So this race is actually kind of starting to shape up like the last several have been, where I'm now approaching where my first pit stop should have been, and I'm starting to seriously wonder, am I actually going to finish and win this race? But I also know that we are way too soon to call that. Interesting thing with Forza 6, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but fuel consumption was upped quite a bit in the simulation, so that for a very long time you always tuned for rubber because you'd never run out of fuel, right? You'd always tune your tires to last as long as possible. But in this case, I mean, not only can you not tune, I mean, I'm just a moving hazard. Well, if there's one upshot, I must be taking everybody out trying to turn around. I may have even taken out first place, because who knows. Yeah, that's a complete disaster. Oh. Hey, thank you for getting me above 100 kilometers an hour, whoever you were. Yeah, I've completely destroyed the whole thing again. But as I was saying, you used to tune things in Forza for tire wear. But with Forza 6, you're tuning, well, in this case you can't tune at all, but now you're tuning mostly for fuel consumption. So there's a lot of instances where, you know, I know that I'd be able to do a huge number of laps on race slicks, but now I just can't. And I just can't because I know that I'm going to run out of fuel. And I'm wondering if I should just write this whole thing off. That's not something I really want to be saying. So, next projected pit stop, end of lap 33. And I am 2 laps down from last. I'm 4 laps down from first. I'm now starting to seriously wonder if I'll be able to finish this in standing. And I'm only on the 17th lap. But I mean, it's sort of an accurate representation, you know. Sometimes when you have accidents in actual racing, that could be it. You retire for the race. Other times, maybe it can be fixed. Should have checked the grid. I wonder if Rossi's in here somewhere. But yeah, this is more like actual racing where there is strategy, although my strategy appears to be lose. I just have to de-lap myself a few times. braking in the corners. That's always dangerous. Which is what I had to do to stop slamming into 67. So, the reason there are no identifiers above anybody is because I am so far behind, it's not bothering to even show me the competition. Not fun. But I mean, if I was in the lead and, you know, multiple laps ahead of everybody else, it wouldn't, you know, it would do the same thing as well. But I am gaining, which is good. But I'm not actually looking at anything but the tarmac. You know, I'm occasionally looking at distances. I'm definitely not looking at lap time. I'm definitely not looking at speed. You know, occasionally I will look at place or the map. And on a straight, I'll definitely check lap count so I know how long it is until I have to pit next. But for the most part now, it's just concentrating on driving. Because, man, I need to drive. Alright, I've made up a lap on last. And I've made up a quarter lap. Oh, come on. You know, I could just keep hitting rewind. But that wouldn't be fun. It would definitely mean that I'd win, though. So, I guess I'm going in for a lap at the end, or another pit at the end of 23. Which is going to cost me... I am going to run out of... that's not entirely correct, so... this is... Well, I don't think I lost quite as much distance as I was afraid I would. Except on first, who's now 4.5 laps ahead of me. I just have to stop trying to pass people on the outside. It's a problem with getting used to driving in a system that is very much no damage. Because that's basically what SRL is. There's no damage unless you hit world objects. But in Forza, everything can and will damage you, and it will hurt. I saw some AIs pit when I was leaving, or well, while I was coming around for that last lap. So the fact that they're coming into pit on 25, I don't like that much. It's making me wonder if my estimate of 17 was based on rubber, or was actually based on fuel. Or maybe is completely wrong. Speaking of which, lap 40 is the next projected pit. And time-wise, we're about a third done, and we're not even a third of the laps in, so starting to feel like my hopeful hour and a quarter is now significantly less than hopeful, and is now probably a complete and total pipe dream. I'm almost back to 4 laps behind first. I probably should have braked harder in corner 4, bring myself down into 5th. Because accelerating back up through 6th from very low RPM is difficult when you're running an automatic transmission and you can't actually shift down. It's the things you worry about while racing. No. Braking into too low of an RPM range in gear, but not so low that you have to shift down, means that you just don't accelerate like you should for a while. Oh. This is the boring part of racing. Paying an awful lot of attention to very mundane stuff. Hoping that something will happen to the guys in front of you. Some mistake, somehow, somewhere. You will not crash into them as they exit the pit lane. And this is... oh, jeez. Clip the front with my back end of the car I've just passed. This is probably the last actually really boring track. The Sebring 300 is sort of the last on my list, not because it's boring, but because it will be extremely difficult and very frustrating. Because it will be 300 miles in the rain. Which is interesting because Sebring's one of my favorite tracks, but in the rain, it isn't. In the rain, it's actually my least favorite track. Because it's got 3 just completely and totally bullshit puddles that will take you off the track on a whim. And it's very difficult to navigate the track and those puddles, because they just sort of sit there in the middle of the track and there really isn't any way around them. That's terribly efficient lap time wise. Also, 300 miles around Sebring will be about 3 hours. Okay. Less than 3 laps ahead of, or behind first. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. At this point, it may just be take your victories where you can get them. I'm going to say that if I can make it to a next projected pit stop, actually when I'm supposed to pit, then we're going to call that good. Why that? Well, we almost made it to the next projected pit stop. Got damage, definitely front aero, brakes and shocks. That'll do it, especially with all the downforce on these cars. So, pit at end of lap 37. We had only just moved our way back up into 23rd. 37. So that makes the next projected pit stop lap 54. Racing. And people wonder why I don't take SRL that seriously, even when I'm being serious. I have a great amount of experience with this in racing. And so you just learn to take your losses, as sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. And as is example today, this is one of those times where there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. It is annoying though that these Indy cars, if you damage them just a little, that because of the downforce, you just have to bring them into the pit. It's really annoying. But in all honesty, you know, I probably should have retired from all the damage. Also probably should not be trying to pass. But hey, laps and laps down. I have to be aggressive. Question is, can I be aggressive and not stupid? It's good that at this point, less than halfway through the race, I'm actually starting to catch up. Ugh. And I'm actually starting to put some space between myself and the people I'm passing. But I'd rather not to be having to do it so aggressively. That just ups the odds of screwing up. I mean, it totally explains why NASCAR goes from, you know, totally normal, full field car wreck, totally normal, full field car wreck. Because only one person needs to mess up. And sort of as you saw, you know, one car sitting out in the middle of the track is going to collect every other car. Yeah, this is maybe shaping up to be an hour 20, maybe an hour and a half. So those aren't numbers I really like the sounds of. As we're now less than halfway through and 35 minutes into the race. Short of me breaking the actual record for this track, which is something like 37 seconds, well, 37.9, the likelihood of me completing the other half of the race in less than 30 minutes is nil. Oh, 54, is it? Proving I don't actually need another car to screw up. I've just walked to the wall. Oh, 45. Yeah, my timing's down, which means my pit time is probably an inaccurate number. Which doesn't really worry me all that much. I mean, ending up back in 23rd place, that does worry me. Especially seeing as the guy I was in front of is now half a lap ahead of me. That was 45, so lap 62, I think, is the next projected pit stop. At this point, I'm going to call it. If I can't get in top 12, then we'll call it a bad race. If I can get in top 12, then it may be a good race. Oh. Yeah, almost half done, and we really are looking at maybe an 80-minute race. So hopefully in the back half of this race I can actually pick it up. I can bring the time down a bit. Oh man, I'm less than 10 kilometers behind first. That might actually be good. Okay, I think I can see 22nd place again. Perfect draft doesn't help if it's not catching me up. It's kind of interesting that I know somewhere in the back of my brain that I am going unbelievably fast. You know, this car is hitting 350 km in the corners and starts tickling 380 at the end of the straights. But it doesn't actually feel like it's terribly fast. Although when you think about it, 360 is 225 miles an hour. 380 is 237-ish, 237, 238. This is a very fast car designed to operate very quickly for the vast majority of its operation. And it just doesn't feel fast. But it's that speed that generates the downforce that means that if you damage any one part of the car, everything else tends to fail simultaneously, because the formula is just completely thrown off. And due to opponent pit stops, I appear to have made my way into 17th place. That's good. Or it means that 21st through 17th was actually all really just a tight pack. Either way, I'm reasonably happy with how I'm climbing positions. Now, 45 plus 17, that's... oh, lap 61, yeah. I'm going to have to pit soon anyway. So I will definitely lose laps there. But I'm feeling slightly more confident about making them up. And the question is that in the last quarter of the race, can I actually make a play on all this catch-up that I've done? I'm really hoping that the answer will be yes. I would like to not have to add another race to my, well, we'll have to do this again list. Which, with 2 races on it already, I think is starting to get longer than I'd like it to be. It's, well, we entered the pit sideways. But we entered the pit sideways when we wanted to. We're going to call that a win. Okay, and we're back to about... we're almost 3 minutes behind estimations. So this is 61. Lap 78 is our next projected pit. We're down to 19 from 16, but that's okay. We can make these up, because we already have. Yep, already clambering back and making up space. Back to, it looks like 2 laps down on first. But I think we're holding pretty well. Thirteenth place. 50 some odd meters to go for 12th, and I will be back to where I started this whole race. Now, very clichély, this is where the actual fight starts. Oh, first place must have pitted, because I like the numbers I'm seeing on the distance chart. But I've also got 1, maybe 2 pit stops planned as well, so I like those numbers because they're getting smaller. And I can't wait for them to start getting bigger with a negative. Because that's what I'm looking for. All in all, I think this has been a decent race so far. I mean, besides the absolute disaster that is the first half. And hoping that there will not be an absolute disaster sometime in the last quarter. Passes, half a lap behind first, 6th place, 30 laps to go. Might do this. It's my wildest hopes. Looks like everybody else is coming in for pit stops. Okay, down to about a quarter lap behind first. And I am now in second. This is good. This becomes significantly more defendable. But it does mean that in about 6 laps, I'm going to have to start doing it all over again. But it does mean that I've whittled my way up. And I'm feeling really good now. Accidentally pit. That's always embarrassing. And we have pulled into first. Let's see if we can't maintain this. At least for a while. Now it's all about building up a lead. Preferably about building a lead more than a lap. So that time lost in pit and out of pit can be minimized. may actually have more things to say about fuel consumption when I do the, I think it's the Le Mans 250. Because there's a number of cars that I would prefer to drive around that. But for some oh, well. I was planning to pit on 78, and I've got a quarter lap. But oops, we've hosed enough of everything to be serious. The car I'd prefer to take around Le Mans only gets 3 laps and you have to stop for fuel. So that becomes, we will have to pit. Next estimate is lap 94. And we are now officially out of possible pit stop numbers. I'm gonna have to go in and add some more to the spreadsheet after the race is done. But only dropping down to 4th place is good. I should be able to build up a lead and then hopefully maintain it before my next pit stop. Hopefully. You know, on the assumption that I don't completely destroy my car. Which I seem to be very adept at doing. 2 laps later. Next projected pit stop, lap 96. And I hope I exit this pit somewhere in the top 10. Oh good, 6th place pit stopped. Screw this pit lane. This game doesn't offer penalties. Okay, back up to 6th. Now a lap and a half down from 1st. I do not like the fact that third is a full 3/4 of a lap ahead of me. It seems far. We're about 4 minutes out from projected end of race, and we still have 17 laps to go. So, I'm starting to maybe not feel a top place finish, but top 12, that's in the bag. Top 10, that's in the bag. Top 5, very likely I'm feeling. That all depends on a bunch of stuff. One of which is actually being good at driving. I say actually being good at driving because I don't think 4 laps will be enough to catch first place if he passes me. So I have 10 laps to put a lap or more on him. And that's going to be the tough bit. Of course I damaged my car. '89. Okay, I now am just going to drive flat out for the rest of the race. I don't have to pit. I'm hoping I can catch up and pass first in that time. Because I think that this is going to knock me back down to maybe fourth. Oh god. Don't want to be in the same position as another car when I stop being insubstantial. Okay. You wanted to see high stakes danger money racing. This is it. This is whatever decides the end of this race. I've had the last pit stop I should need. Any other pit stop will cost me the race. All I have to do is make up almost half a lap in 9 laps. And then hold it. So, hopefully, the AIs have one last pit stop. But, if they're driving well, they probably don't. Maybe an hour and 15 is closer than I thought. Still, slower than I want, but closer than I thought. Okay, let's have 500 meters. First. About 6 laps to go. Well, actually closer to 5 now. And so all I have to do now is hold it. It's interesting. There can be a lot of really boring times in races right like now, yet I'm coming up on a huge pack of cars, and that's where the exciting racing is. In all honesty, I just want to stay in the boring section, because the boring section's significantly safer. But I can't afford to be overly safe or conservative. I've got less than a quarter of a lap on first place. I don't so much need to extend that, I just need to not lose anything. That was not a passing on the inside that I wanted to do. Penultimate lap. And we look to be back to some boring stuff. So that's good. Yeah, okay, it looks like the final lap is going to be dull lap, and that's good. Okay, unless we get hit by something coming out of the pit lane. Even then, it would still be worth it to hobble across the finish line instead of pit. And it looks like we won. In about an hour 16 something. What to say about this race? This was an almost unmitigated disaster. I pitted 11 times when I was planning to pit 5. So that's not good. But what is good is that I somehow pulled a first place finish out. Which means that this does not end up as bad as I'd hoped. Don't have to redo the race. My average lap time was significantly slower than what I was hoping. As was, average speed, sorta. But the upside is that I finished first, and that's good. Means I don't have to add this to the list of races that I'm gonna have to redo. See how my time is against the world. Not bad. It was a clean time. I'm good about that. I feel real good about that. Yeah, I feel real good about that. Oh, thank you for joining me in rambling during an extremely dull race. Extremely dull race full of many crashes. Now I'm looking at the pit stops for the first half of the race, and I just don't like them whatsoever. But you know, after lap 23, everything started to shape up nicely. And definitely after lap 45, everything just sort of ended up in a groove. So, next week, it looks like it will be the Le Mans 250. I can talk about all sorts of boring stuff like fuel consumption weirdness. So, thank you for joining me. I hope that you were almost as bored as I was, if not less so. Oh no, not options.